Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. So since the last episode, it has been a little bit of time. I've been doing some work up here, as I said I would. I did get the portal moved, so yay, and I got it turned back on. Of course, we don't have mana being fed over, but you can see kind of the start of what's going to be one of our Botania areas up here. We're going to get into all of this a little bit later today. And if we come over, I gotta get like right in this area to get my flight, but you can see where I've started bringing this. It's just a shell right now, not decorated or anything like that, but this area comes around, plugs in. I may bring this up just a little bit, we'll see. So maybe it sets, I'd like it to set right about in here. So we might do part of a floor or something. I've got to see how everything plugs up, but then this is going to come on up a little bit. It actually does kind of shrink down just by like a block as it comes up to this part. So this part's actually going to sit a little bit smaller in diameter than the lower part, and then we're going to have some kind of supports that come down, but I don't think that I've got, at the moment I don't think that I've got everything that I need for that. Because I think for what I want to do, I'm going to have to push just a little bit of mana and artifice to get the block that I want, I think. So I've got to copy this over into a test world and then test the block just to make sure, because I haven't updated my test world since the weekend, but we'll see. We'll see. I think I will like that. This right here we're going to get into, actually I think, well, we'll be getting into that in just a moment, in fact. Let's pop down real quick. And before we do get rolling, I want to go ahead. I've had this building up on mana, basically while I've been building and stuff. So let's go ahead. So we'll go ahead and get 2 Terra Steel. Also, I did make our Diamond Wand indestructible. That's actually an area where I don't use the Diamond Wand a whole lot. But that tower alone almost broke the Diamond Wand. I was like, I should probably make that indestructible, which takes such a minuscule amount of mana. It's almost negligible, to be honest. Okay, so let's go ahead. We do have the 4 Gaia Pylons that we made last episode. Let's take these. And we're going to pop through. Oh, none of this stuff is completely finished. I didn't have quite as much time to build. I had a bit, but one of my pugs has been sick, so I've been spending a bit of time with her. I think it's some kind of like a stomach bug or something. Because my black lab has it too, but my other pug, my little pug, doesn't have it, so I don't know. I think it's some kind of a stomach bug though. But anyways, we are at the end of time. I actually just went back, I looked at the footage from when we did the Abyss, went back to our warpstone after we killed the boss when we were in the Abyss, and I started building this out, and what it's eventually going to be is it's actually going to be a mirrored image at like the end of time. So a mirrored image of this space, but kind of in ruins, is kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe some parts of the base. I thought, man, it'd be cool if it wasn't like one of those forever builds that will never end. But I thought it'd be really, really cool to have kind of mirrored spaces of our base, but one like at the end of time and one at the like the burned world from the other boss. So we'll be doing that at some point, but kind of have those mirrored images maybe. But anyways, we're going to set this up. Oops. It's the bad thing about having these really fast picks like this. I do have this beacon activated just with speed, because why not? But anyways, let's go ahead. And I did it here, and I did our Gaia fight here, not just does it give us a nice cool dimension to kind of fight the Gaia, but also we don't get the debuff for being in the blue skies dimension, so we can use our scythe kind of to full effect here. So but anyways, let's go ahead. Actually, I think I'm going to run the armor ring. I don't know, the magnet ring could be useful too, but maybe just throw that on after the fight. Why will you not accept it? You should, unless this has to be raised. Oh wow, how did that happen? Oh, that seems like a weird bug. Because I hopped on my broom, because I accidentally clicked on the fish that was floating around in here, came back. I don't know if it was like this before. I don't think so, because we were just on it. But it seems to have bugged out my broom. And now it thinks I have a wheat brush, a dark gem cap, a wooden rod. I'm 8 out of 3 modifiers, which isn't right. We still have a lot of the same stats, but the stats from the parts aren't there. Oh, that's weird. The stats from our modifiers are there, though. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, that seems a little bit busted. Oh, it's looking... It sees that block. I didn't even see the red up there. I didn't think about it catching that. Okay, well, everything else that I had was fine. So we can spawn it. I'll have to figure out something. I could always just have it broken, like it's broken off, you know? Alright, but let's go ahead and get cracking on our Gaia Guardian. We'll probably be upgrading our scythe at some point, but I will say for the ad phase, the scythe is going to be extremely powerful. And I mean, we're not really taking much in the way of damage, and I think my decoys are keeping all the little bats busy. So I can almost... I guess I could focus on dodging the mist. The extra reach, too, that we've got at the moment is going to be kind of nice, because I can hit things from really far back. Yeah, there's a bunch of Asgards running around now, so... one thing I do want to try... I don't think it would work there. I want to see if we can do spell damage on it. Now we may end up sprucing this up. I've got to, if I do, I'll have to get mana set up in this area. But you know, in past series a couple times, we've upgraded the area around the altar to where you can almost just AFK during the fight. We can actually just kill those. Yeah, we can hurt him with magic, so that's great. But it's not like we got a lot of mana, because we're taking so much damage during this fight that it's triggering my buffs a lot. There we go. Easy, easy fight. All this stuff. Honestly, I think probably drop the armor. I mean, we're to the point now where it seems like we just have so much defense that, like, nothing really hurts us much. So there we go. We got our Gaia spirits. So there. And then they want us to make the Gaia spirit ingots. They want us to make 2 of them. Honestly, if the broom is going to bug out like that, I'm going to have to play around with it. I mean, it's not a big deal for me to make another broom, but I really don't like the fact that it just bugged out, and then I'm like, now I don't have a broom. But let's go ahead and make just a little bit more Terra Steel. I think we got enough mana that this isn't too big of a deal. I don't think we'll be making much in the way of, like, Alf Steel today. So this shouldn't be too bad on us. There we go. Then let's go ahead. We probably will... I think we will have to end up... the rune of Vanheim actually is super cheap. Oh, and we only use one Gaia here, and so we'll have another one to fight the Gaia again. So that's not too bad. Because they're only asking for 1 mana collector. Let me grab my runic altar, though. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I guess we could have already set up our Gaia spreaders, but... or gotten into Gaia spreaders, but... I'd like to not have to fight the Mark 1 any more than I just literally have to. Which technically we could go ahead and fight the Mark II at this point, I think, but... because I don't think it's really dependent on anything that we're doing here. No, because then it goes straight to Dice of Fate. And I don't know if we're necessarily going to be... It seems like it's just pumping out so much mana. Like, are we really sending that much that the spark's just like... Bah. I don't know. Okay, but it's Netherite, Elven Gateway, Rune of Earth, Spring, and Pride. Okay, and I actually don't have enough Terra Steel. I would have. I mean, I can break this one down. I would have actually had enough Terra Steel, but a little something did happen between episodes where when I went to move the portal, right? I still had the portal kind of active. And when I went to move the portal, one of my pylons fell into the portal. And of course, they just take it and they don't give it back. So I did have to make 1 more of those pylons, which took me 3 more Terra Steel nuggets. Not a big deal. But that's the only reason that we're a little shy there. Okay, so there is our Rune of Vanheim. And the mana collector is extremely nice. We will be using it a little bit later, but not really today for anything. Because we only have, right now we only have one mana generating flower, right? Later on for some of our other mana setups we will make use of it, but right now it's not crazy important for us. But we do get 2 Terra Steel from that quest. And then they want us to fight the Gaia Mark II. And while we're down here, I'm going to go ahead and make one more Terra Steel, because why not? Alright, so let's pop back up. Bear in mind that these warp plates, since I am teleporting cross-dimensionally in this case, they do take 3 XP levels. I could pull the levels out with the Tome of Peridia, but honestly at this point we have so many levels, like I just don't care. So I've got XP on me right now. It's convenient. I'll empty it out occasionally, but I'm not too worried about it, truth be told. Alright, let's go ahead. I think I actually don't need those sparks. We're going to use those here in a little bit, but not right this second. Let's go ahead and activate the Gaia Mark II. A little bit tougher fight. I don't think we're going to have any issue with it whatsoever. So, and it seems like our wand does a lot of damage. It's a little bit tricky because, of course, keeping our mana up. I could tweak my buff spells, because in a situation like this, it's really not that important that we have like 40-second buffs. Reach is going to be extremely useful here too, because we can hit the Gaia from pretty far off, which does make this a little bit easier if I can find him, because all my clones. And I don't think the Thorns effect does a whole lot on him. But it's funny because my wand actually does more damage, substantially more damage to the Gaia than our scythe does. So, but we are going to be upgrading the damage of our scythe before too long as well, because it was really just kind of the only reason I haven't done it yet. There's a lot of enchantments that are going to go onto our scythe. And I want to make sure that we've got a lot of mana ready, so it's not like, oh, we're waiting on scythe enchants for a really long time. And that way we've got a lot of pools to feed it quickly, which our room is kind of set up that way. I'm just kind of letting the mana build up. And right now we're not really draining all that we're making either, so. Okay, we should be just about to go into ad phase. There it is. And what's nice, I don't think we've actually taken like much in the way of damage, but this is a great time to for your health and everything to kind of refill, because you'll notice the field's not quite as crazy during this phase. So, but just bear in mind that Botania alone does give you the means to easily clear this boss. You know, we had that one set up. It's been a while back. I can't even remember what series it was on. But we had that one setup where we pretty much just sat there, literally like sat there in one spot, didn't move, and just killed the boss with chakrams. And the mobs all attacked each other, and we had like super regeneration from a falling Kanad. Just pretty much hung out during the fight. And of course, Mythic Botany, if you want to take the time to get like the Alfheim gear, we will be getting into some Alfheim equipment. It's kind of like upgraded Terra Steel. But if you want to take the time to make that before the Gaia fight, it's going to be even easier. So it does look like he's dealing a little bit of damage, not a lot. I mean, we can definitely recover from it. There he is. And the likelihood of him actually killing us is very, very low. So there we go. We killed him, and then we're going to get all of our loot. Okay, so we got a bunch of mana pearls, mana steel, mana diamond. We also got runes of sloth, water, fire, lust. Great source of runes, of course. Music disc. We got the rune tablet, which is what we were really after. And we did get 16 Gaia spirits, which is great. We also got the Wheel of Darok, which is critical hit damage increases with lower HP. Alright, once we get into some Terra Steel or Alfheim, I think it can go on Alfheim equipment, that's where we're going to use that at. So, our Dice of Fate, we got Oh, the Ring of Loki. Not the one we were really after. The one we really wanted was the one that does the health, which is the Ring of Odin. That does, yeah, it's Ring of Odin that does the health and damage and all that, like, crazy stuff. But we are going to get some XP levels from that. And then, oh, there is a quest here, actually, to go into Alfheim. I didn't realize that. I don't check the quests ahead of time. I didn't realize that that was there. Quest line for Botania doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of Botania and what we're going to be doing with Botania. Okay, and there's just some basic stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's pop back. We're sitting on 99 levels. Okay, so we're going to need to make the blood here. Now, I haven't gotten the Wandering Trader. It actually totally slipped my mind until just now. I was meaning to get that between episodes, but I will head out and see about finding some of that, or finding one of those. But let's go ahead. Let's pull up some Mythic Botany. We got a little bit of stuff to do. This I'm just going to toss in here. That's a ring. We might use it some, but probably not extensively. What we are going to need to do, we're going to need to make a master rune holder and some rune holders. Now, I did lay this out. This is basically what you'll want if you want to do all 4 rituals at some point. The blood is something that we will end up reusing, but some of the stuff like Mjolnir probably don't need it more than once unless you want to decorate with it. The Ring of Andwari, I would really like to get this ring. That's probably going to be something that we shoot for pretty quick. But once again, probably only need this once. And the schematic for Yggdrasil rune crafting might need it more than once, depending on how you want to set up automation for your runes with the anvils. But let's go ahead. These are actually extremely cheap to craft. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a master rune holder. And then we're going to get a few rune holders. I may have to make some more mana powder, and if so, that's fine. We'll go ahead and make like 16. See where that gets us. Originally, I was actually going to have this set up and have it kind of be on like platforms. But if you're trying to do all 4 rituals, it actually would make kind of like this border that runs around it. Where it would be really awkward to like get in there and get out and stuff. You'd kind of have to jump over it or put these weird staircases that go up. So I decided to just have this be ground level. But let's go ahead and we're just going to put these basically on all these spots. These are potential slots that are going to have runes placed on them. It looks like we're probably about halfway to what we need. I'll have to make some more of these. Basically free, you know, iron and gunpowder and all that stuff. Basically have like infinite of it. So we're not that worried about it. Okay, so there we go. We will change out to they do break. So that's something I'll have to break and replace these whenever I end up changing the floor. So not a big deal though. Okay, so if we open this up, we'll go ahead and get this laid out. We actually only need 12 for the blood though, and actually not a lot of mana. Putting mana into this, it is a little bit different. Because we are going to need like a band of mana. Might be able to do it with a tablet. Now, when it comes to laying this out, the direction and stuff, it doesn't matter. Just kind of lay it out correctly is all that it wants. So we're going to put in a Rune of Fire there, and then opposite that, we're going to go Rune of Fire, Rune of Fire. Now, when you're laying out your runes, it's fairly easy to do because if you look at this, it says relative position. So when you're laying this out, it's not too difficult to figure out. For like this one, it's kind of wild. There's runes all over the place. But if you just look at that relative position, it's going to help you out a lot as far as laying this out. Now, I may actually have to keep one of these because I don't know that I've got 4 summer runes on me. I do not. I have 1. And I think summer is part fire. No, it's air and earth. Okay, never mind. So I probably won't need that one in that case. But we will need 2 Helheims and 2 Midgards. And Helheim does require fire. But actually, I think I've got... Yeah, I do have 1 Rune of Fire, so... Okay, so now we have to pop down. Actually, I can go ahead and take our rune tablet. Now, it is worth noting that, we drank the water last episode. That you can only get from the Gaia Mark II if you drink the water. So that's kind of where that drinking the water from the horn comes into play. And why that's important to do. But we're going to go ahead. We are going to need, of course, another Rune of Summercraft. And it is just 1, right? No, it is 4 of them. Okay. Which actually works out because that's just the amount of melons that I happen to have on me. So I am going to have to farm some melons if I want to make some more Runes of Summer. But you do get these runes back, so we're going to have 4 Runes of Summer. And at this point, we'll probably get a lot of our runes, realistically, probably just from killing the Gaia. Because, of course, every time that you kill the Gaia, you're going to get, you know, a wide variety of runes that are kind of like random as to which ones you get. But as you saw that last time, we got like 8 runes or something like that. And we'll be killing the Gaia bare minimum 6 more times, but probably a lot more than that, honestly. So there we go. And I will say this is probably something that's almost worth leaving laid out. Since we'll be making the blood from time to time for the Balder Steel. So we may keep this laid out. So then it's going to be Earth, Spring, Greed, Mana Steel, and Grass. And we're going to need 2 of these at the bare minimum. We might be alright on this mana pool. Runes don't tend to be that expensive, really. And then for this one, for Helheim, it's going to be Fire, Autumn, Envy, Gold, and just any kind of head. So we'll just finish laying this out real quick, and then the Midgard goes with the Summer. Helheim goes here. So beyond that, we are also going to need an Alf Steel Nugget. We're going to need a Mana Glass Vial, a Wandering Trader, which we'll have to get one of those, and a Soul Scribe. And of course, generally, Wandering Trader, not going to be a big deal, but for us, since we don't live in a place where they kind of naturally just exist, it's a little bit more problematic for us. Because I'm actually going to have to go out into the world and find a Wandering Trader. But yeah, I'm going to have to, I don't know, we could either... Well, we do have a few options in terms of flight. We could either go with another broom, and it could potentially break on us. That's an option. The other option, which I think I like a little bit more, and it kind of falls into what we're going to be doing this week, is getting into some Worm's Roost, and just going that route for flight. And just say, well, we're done riding on brooms, now we're going to ride on big monsters. I think that's a bit better. So I think that's the route that we're going to take. But I think at this point, I'm going to be kind of just waiting on a Wandering Trader at the moment. There is some rituals that we could do to make it day. So if this takes a little bit, it's something that we might do. It's not too far from day, and I need to go check on my dog anyways. So I'm just going to be kind of hanging out, waiting for a Wandering Trader to spawn up. Okay, I finally got one. I AFK'd for a bit, and I set it up. I had to give my dog Pedialyte and everything, and then I was cuddling her for a little bit, and then I tried to get her to go back to sleep, and she's asleep now. That was a little bit ago. It took me about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that, before I got one to spawn. They can take a little while, of course, so not the most fun thing. But I was looking for an enchanted forest. Didn't find one. Decided to set out after I had AFK'd at the desert for like 3 days, and just had the volume up so I could hear it if I heard one spawn, because they do make a lot of noise. Okay, so I think now, well, let's see. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out a way that we could summon them. I don't know. You know, Mana and Artifice has a few traders. I know Occultism does too, but they're Foliates. But I don't think the Mana and Artifice traders would work, because they're not really like Wandering Traders. But that's something we'll have to see if we can figure out a good way to spawn these, or if I need to just try to make a spawner with Wandering Traders. You know, that's an option as well. Let's see. We should probably also just go ahead and make a Band of Mana. I think that's going to be the best way to do this, because it is going to require that we have some mana available. I can't remember. I want to say that Mana Tablet works, but I know that Band of Mana works. So I think we're going to go with the Band of Mana just to be on the safe side. So we'll just get this filled up. Alright, that should be filled up enough. It's not totally filled at the moment, but I think it should be sufficient for us. It's pretty close. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is let's throw down this, this, this. We're going to set down our Wandering Trader. We're going to right-click this. It's going to kill the trader, absorbs the items. We should see that it's taken a little bit of mana out of the Band of Mana. I'll just unequip that now. We give that a second, and there we go. You can see we got all of our runes back, but then we got the blood as well. I'm going to throw that in there. We're not going to need it for a little while. Like I said, we will need that blood later on for the Balder Steel, which it really isn't that bad. It does take 4 mana pools, but mana's not going to be an issue too much longer. For the Spark of Knowledge, which we need one of these for the ATM Star, and of course the ATM Star is just for the Philosopher's Stone. We will need to get at least one more Wandering Trader for that, whenever that time comes. Alright, so there is our mead. And then what we can do is we can just drink this. As you drink the mead formed from great evil, you feel how you suddenly gain the ability to talk in any language used in the 9 worlds. Okay. Now, at this point, we can step through the portal and we can travel to Alfheim. Now, before we do that, I am going to need a little bit more Dreamwood. But we do need to start sending mana up to this area. And to do that, we're going to start siphoning some mana off from our experience farm, of course. Or from our silverfish farm, not experience farm. We don't get any experience out of that really anymore. But let's go ahead and get ourselves a Phantom Lens. For this one, at least right now, I'm not going to put Velocity on it. Or Potency, I mean. The reason being, we actually have a really long distance that we're needing to send this mana. And we may even have to have it wind around just a little bit because of the direction that we're going to be sending it. And we could send it... actually, I think right here should be good. We're going to go ahead and put that on there, and we're going to grab that spreader. But with the distance, I think the Gaia spreader, I mean, it's a pretty far distance. I don't know if we're going to have fall off, because you can see this is actually built to be kind of, sort of, well, actually I thought it was a little bit closer than that. But that's okay. Let's see what happens if we were to bind it up to here. Yeah, see, it's not actually sending it all the way. I don't know that we're going to have enough distance to send it quite that far. So what's probably better to do in this case is run it over to, like, say here. We are getting mana. Let me make sure there's no fall off though. Okay, there actually is just a little bit of fall off. You can see right there is where it kind of starts to fall off. So what we're going to do instead, let's run it up to, like, say here. And there we go. We're starting to send the mana over, and that's just before the fall off occurs. And see, if we were to do, like, say, Potency, it would fall off earlier. So we're going to try to just send it this way. There's faster ways, like if we used minecarts or something, it would be substantially faster, but I think that this should be fine for us, because we're not actually going to be needing a whole lot of mana up there. From this system, we will have other mana systems in place, which will actually be the majority of the mana that we're sending up there. That setup is more just for the enchantment area, and we're going to leech a little bit of that mana for the time being. We'll probably keep it leeching a little bit, because it's not going to be, like, super fast because of the distance that we're needing to send it in this case, but we're at least going to get this leeching off some of the mana for right now. So, okay, and then we shouldn't be too far. I think we're about 20 blocks out. This is almost middle, so let's grab that. But this should put us substantially closer to where it actually needs to go. And it should, honestly, it should come in at a lot better angle as well. Because before, trying to hit the mana splitter, it was coming in at a really awkward angle anyhow. So, yeah, this is coming from there. And if we were to click on that... Oh, and I never put the Phantom Lens on. That's probably the reason. So it is sending mana at this point, where this kind of comes in out. So let's, yeah, Yeah, it actually looks like we're just fine. The beam's kind of coming up right here, and it's starting to feed into these pools. That's great. We won't actually need this, unless I want the beam to come up directly underneath it. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to do that, just to make this look a little bit nicer. So we'll have it be here, and we could probably lay it out in a way that the potency would work out on the lens. So maybe if we decide we want more mana, but the goal is just to kind of have this running passively and then have bigger sources of constant mana with mana collectors set up here fairly soon. So hopefully we won't have this be like a long-term thing. That's the goal. So right now I just want some passive mana coming in, basically just to feed our Alfheim portal more than anything. So that is sending the mana up here, and then these will be able to store up, you know, a bunch of mana. And then, how many earth runes do we have? Am I going to have to make some? Yeah, I am. Give me just a second. Let me go, yeah, let me go make some earth runes real quick. And this should be the last ones we have to craft for right now, I think. I'll leave that down here for just a moment, though. But let's go ahead and get our Recessive Spark Augments. So 4 of these. And of course, this will allow those 4 sparks to then send their mana over to any, you know, any regular sparks, which are these that are laid out around this little area. And then each of these will also be fed from our other mana systems. Once we get those in place, and then by the end of things, we should have a lot of mana coming in. You can see the mana flowing down. And it kind of makes this really cool like rain effect in this area. So as long as the mana is being used from all these pools, then it's going to be kind of constantly doing all these like pretty colors and particles kind of coming down around this area. And then what we're going to do, let's go ahead and get 2, at least, well, we're going to start with 2 for now. 2 dominant spark augments, and then 2 sparks. And we're going to break this off for just a minute. You can see it doesn't break the portal, but we're going to go ahead and put that onto there. And then we can just cover this up with that. So technically the portal is still there, but we're going to be putting these dominant spark augments on top. So that way it can feed the pools that feed the portal for our Alfheim crafting. And then we'll give this a little bit to kind of fill up, and then we're going to have, this area here is going to have our, you know, Terra Steel and Alf Steel crafting, and then we're going to have some more pools to kind of boost the storage there. But now at this point we're ready to basically just step in the portal and head to Alfheim. However, I know it's about wrapping up point. I don't want to step into our new dimension right at the very end or be running over for this episode. So I think it's a pretty good stopping point for us for this episode, and then we're basically I'm gonna go ahead and start recording the next part. I want to get into Alfheim, gain access to that stuff, but more importantly, since we're here, we might as well knock out this quest. But what I've been really working up Botania for, we're not ready to get just yet, because we've kind of got to let mana build up. I've got to make some Terra Steel. I've got to make some more Alf Steel. I think 5 pieces of Alf Steel. So not too bad. Honestly, now that everything's plugged up and running, that's why I wanted to get everything plugged up, is because then I can spend some time building something a little bit more extensive than this area. Spend some time building and let all this, because I mean we actually have a lot of pools of mana set up, like a lot of them. It's going to take a while to fill it up on the system that we've got. I mean, we've got good mana production, but we don't have great mana production. Honestly, the mana production that we've got is probably enough for this pack, but we are going to push it a bit more, just so that we've always kind of got that mana on demand sort of thing, so that if we want to make a bunch of Alf Steel or Balder Steel, for whatever reason, we can do it. But right now I'm going to have to let this stuff build up just a little bit to get what we really, really want from the Botania progression at the moment. So, well, actually, I've got enough Terra Steel right now. I don't think I've got the means to make more Alf Steel at the moment. We do have this 1 piece, but it's, what, 2 pools? Yeah, I'm going to have to wait on that. But I do have enough Terra Steel. for what I was wanting to do. So let's go ahead. Let's get a mana tablet. And then let's get ourselves... We're going to need a bunch of... I may actually have to make some more living wood here in just a moment. I think I've already got some converted up there. But let's go ahead and get ourselves a Terra Shatterer. Let's get a Terra Truncator. Let's get a Terra Blade. And then let's get ourselves a Terra... oh, I'm actually going to be... No, I'm going to be two Terra still off, in fact. For some reason, I thought I had enough. Remote Paranoia. But I should be able to... I think I've probably got enough mana to get the last 2 pieces of Terra Steel. Hopefully. If not, I'm going to be really, really close. Oh, it's starting to slow down. No, we actually do not have enough mana for that. No. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that up. We're going to get our solidified mana. And we'll just toss that into there. See where we're at. I'm literally like 3 nuggets away. Yeah, see, we've got to be pretty close. Probably by the time I go get some living wood, we should be good. But yeah, I didn't think we'd have enough to do that and the Alf Steel. Because I'm going to need like 4 more pieces of Alf Steel. So 8 more pools of mana. No, actually not as bad as it sounds, but I definitely don't have enough right now. I've been making a lot of Terra Steel and stuff, and that adds up. So for that, we're going to have to wait. But okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get these living wood twigs. And then let's get the Terra Hoe. And then while I'm at it, let me grab the smithing table. And let's go ahead and set up a smithing table. It could actually go up here. I might move it slightly, but for right now we can set it up right here. And if we take, like, for example, our Terra Shatterer and we apply some Alf Steel to that, we're going to get the Alf Shatterer, which is basically like the Terra Shatterer, but it's a little bit better. Like, for example, the Alf Truncator, it says, despite being able to chop down whole trees in just seconds, this axe can pull nearby items towards you when pressing shift and right click. The Alf Blade, it does much more damage, and you can swing it much faster than the normal Terra Blade. The Alf Shatterer, it's able to area mine even more blocks at once. It mines multiple blocks in the direction you're looking as well. It only works horizontally to prevent fall damage when mining down. So they're basically just slightly upgraded versions of the Terra stuff. But within this pack, we can take that a little bit further and make the Alf Steel AIoT, which can do all this stuff. We can do soil, create grass paths, and then basically that means we can dump all of this stuff. We're still going to keep our scythe. Technically, the AIoT could be used as a weapon, and it's got 13 base damage, a 6.4 attack speed, crazy attack speed, and crazy base damage. Technically would be better than the scythe. I am still going to enchant it so that we can use it as a weapon, and I believe it still has the Alf Steel and Terra Steel sword, like, mana burst that you shoot out as well. But I just think the scythe has so much flavor, and it's kind of our weapon. Even whenever we start getting into the unobtainium or the ATM metal stuff, I'm probably still going to be using the scythe over that for most purposes. Just because raw stats aren't really everything when it comes to stuff, and I just like flavorful weapons, and I think the scythe is perfect for that. Please have enough. Please have enough. There we go. Okay. So now we can get the last Terra weapon, or the last Terra tool, which is the Terra Spade. So technically, we've got everything for the AIoT. We just need 4 Alf Steel to upgrade it all now to the Alf version. Because there is the Terra Steel AIoT, but we want specifically the Alf Steel AIoT. And then we'll be able to upgrade it with the Elementium, and then of course we can rank it up just like with the normal Terra Shatterer. We can rank it up by feeding it mana, and that's where once we get up to the point where we're producing just a massive amount of mana, that's where a lot of our mana is going to be going, is just to upgrading our AIoT. But we can also make this unbreakable, so we won't have to be feeding it mana to repair it. It'll just be an unbreakable AIoT that we can bump up to an S rank and then toggle between massive mining settings. So once we get that in place, we'll be able to mine like a monster. Now, granted, yeah, technically we could have a void miner right now. We technically already have one. We just don't have it running. But like I said, manual mining, it's a lot more fun, and the Alfstill AIoT is going to make manual mining just insanely good. Like, insanely good. Because we'll be able to quarry out entire spaces extremely fast. We don't really have a whole lot of area within our build that needs to be quarried out, but we'll be using it basically just for mining purposes. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so we're going to end this one out here, and then come next episode, we are going to step through the portal. I'm actually probably going to be recording that, just going directly into that recording. I'm trying to get just a little bit ahead, and then I'm going to do another bit of building. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.